This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Snowplow in the north as the Cyan Empire player. This is Zugspitze. In the south as the Blue Allies. This is Andrey. Empire versus Allies, and it looks like it's going to be a quad dojo opening for our Empire player. But settle in, this is sure to be a series. We do have a best of 7 on our hands. Andrey versus Zugspitze for the win 73 grand finals. Now coming into this, it's a double elimination best of 7. Now if you guys are unfamiliar with how a lot of double elimination tournaments is, if you are the winner's bracket winner, then you have some kind of advantage going into the grand final. Some double elimination tournaments will will hold your score from the previous series. If you won against this player before, then they will hold your score and carry it over into the grand final, and you'll start a grand final with a point advantage. But in this case, you play a best of 7. Then, if Zugspitze, who is the winner's bracket winner, loses, we then go to a second series. So, Andrey and Zugspitze faced off in the winner's bracket final, and Zugspitze won that game. Andrey then dropped down. He played the loser's bracket final against Chris, and he won that in the loser's bracket final. Of course, we do have to say a thank you to Rage of Heat for organizing this tournament. The guy pumps out a lot of tournaments and a lot of events, and of course he puts his own cash on the line. Himself and Goldie donated to the $95 prize pool for this tournament, so a big thank you to those guys for putting their own cash on the line, all for Red Alert 3. Third refinery up and running relatively soon for Zugspitze. Same thing could be said for Andrey as he has moved his MCV. He's got his airfield out here on the water, and then his refinery should be following this up relatively shortly thereafter. Allies versus Empire can be a very difficult matchup for the Empire player, depending on how comfortable they are at dealing with cryocopters and other allied shenanigans. And of course, Snowplow is partially considered an allied favored map, because this central position with the allied MCV is so powerful build radius-wise. You can set up there and turret push the water, you can turret push the land. It's a very powerful position. But Zugspitze is a powerful Empire player regardless, so this refinery never happened. The MCV has been sold, and the War Factory is now on the way, so this is not going well for Zugspitze. I'm guessing this building has something to do with it, but unfortunately for him, he now has to deal with this cryocopter with an extremely late mecha bay. He went the third refinery to try and get out more economy, and this has backfired on him tremendously. This is not a cryo rush. This is not a cheesy play from Andrey, and yet he is completely unprepared for it. And, well, goodbye second harvester, right? Goodbye second harvester. There are now 2 Tangos, so one of them maybe getting frozen. Nope, the Apollo is going to be going for the kill on these Tangus. They're trying to... Alright, well, GG. Andrey wins game 1, and, wow, his only hope is to try and grab this MCV. No, the dog does get shut down, and Zugspitze actually has a chance at trying to take this by forcing all of this Empire infantry to do all of the lifting in this game. Of course, if the cryocopters turn around... Never mind. Zugspitze has been defeated. Andrey opens up this best of 7 with a first game win. And again, that wasn't even a cheese. That wasn't even anything too strange. But those 3 refineries were punished very hard by Andrey, and he will open this series up with a clean 1-0 on Snowplow. Let's find out what happens in game number 2. Game 2, which takes us to Cabana Republic. On the left side, as the Blue Allies, this is Andrey. On the right side, as the Cyan Empire, it's Zugspitze. Down 0-1. Going for a triple dojo opener. The triple refinery opener is a little bit safer on this map. That Javelin Trooper getting the easy peasy kill there for Andrey in game number 1. Looks like it is going to be 2 refineries, so it's not a 1 refinery airfield kind of a play for Andrey. Well, it is a 1 refinery airfield play for Andrey. He is delaying his second refinery to a huge degree. And, well, this is scouted. There's the Apollo, going to get the kill on the burst drone. So this has been identified by Zugspitze, and this is the exact opposite of what he was hoping. So these walls may actually just be to deceive Zugspitze so that he thinks that it is a airfield into a second refinery, but it's actually cryocopter. He goes for the tier 2, packs up his MCV, and it is going to be an MCV push. So he's going to be turret pushing with cryocopters, and against a 3 refinery opening, this is extremely difficult to hold. No Mecha Bay. This is exactly what Andrey wants to see. His MCV is coming across the map. Should be a Vindicator or 2 on the way. There it is. And most Empire players can't hold this from this position. With these Defender VX positions, they simply can't do it. If you have faster Mecha Bay, more Tengus, maybe. But we'll have to see. Zugspitze is a very good Empire player. But again, he missed times. So that affects this a little bit, but not a lot. The wasting of that 1 bomb by this cryocopter, or by that Vindicator. And you might as well start the Harvester already. He sells off that refinery, so he gets a little bit of cash back, and it's going to be double walls around this refinery. Goes for another barracks. Okay. Okay, this is actually really interesting. If he's able to make something happen with the dojos on the other side of the map, putting pressure on the allied player who he's identified is going to be committing a lot into this attack. Multi-gunner turret going to be the first thing to strike. It's not actually going to be the cryocopter Vindicator that's trying to do something over here. It's just going to be straight-up multi-gunner turrets. And the first multi-gunner turret will go down. The second one is further out. This is not great for Andrey. Dojo being established. Ooh, if Zugspitze could have gotten this out just a smidge earlier. Dang. Yeah, Dojo gets shut down. With no tank busters, this makes this really difficult. There's the wall segment. Tank Buster is going to be coming around the north side, sneaking in past the power plant. We'll be taking a lot of damage, but we'll get a couple of shots off, and we'll clean up that multi-gunner turret, and the Tank Buster survives. So that's good for Zugspitze. The walls are complete. Andrey didn't go cheap on the walls. He has not rebuilt his airfield over here just yet. He went Naval Yard, so he can make use of that Tier 2. That Assault Destroyer is going to break down these walls. There's the MCV cell. The Engineer pulls up to the north side. There's the MCV down, or the power plant down. He sells off the barracks to get it all back online. And actually, no, the multi-gunner turret is going to be the thing breaking down the walls. This is a curious way to respond to this. I would have loved if Zugspitze would have been able to hide a dojo somewhere else on the map. He's going to be able to overwhelm one of the Apollos. No, he doesn't quite manage to do it. They do manage to escape, slapping that F key. The return to base is very powerful. The speed boost is very good. And the Apollos now are going to be getting refueled and repaired up. Riptide also out on the map here. Not enough income to get too many more Tengus out. 2 refineries, 2 oil derricks for Zugspitze. Harvester's being harassed. 1 down. The second one goes down. The Tengus are not able to respond because of the Apollos. That Tengu does go down. This one frozen. These are limited Tengu numbers, but using the Imperial Warriors is a great move. 1 refinery down here in the south, or I guess the second refinery is down. Keep in mind, Zugspitze has gone up to Tier 2. He has not rebuilt his MCV, though. Harvester going to be getting some free repairs as it passes by that war factory. This is a great response by Zugspitze, forcing his opponent to split his forces like this. And he gets the kill on that refinery. He loses the Tengu, but he gets the kill on the refinery. Striker VXs are going to be able to wear down this Assault Destroyer. They're going to be able to do big, easy damage because it has nothing to defend it. No hydrofoil, no base defenses. Goodbye, Assault Destroyer. And Zugspitze is actually making this happen. He's not out of the woods yet, but he is in a position to make this happen. He's got one ore refinery, he's got 2 oil derricks, so he's got actually a serious amount of income in comparison to his opponent who's just on that 1 oil derrick. And Zugspitze, he may be able to collapse in on this multi-gunner turret. He may be able to make this happen. This has been a scrappy, this has been a difficult game. This has been not a clean win, but he has made this happen. The airfield has been sold off. Can Andrey sneak out a second airfield? No, he's going to get body blocked a little bit by these tsunami tanks. They're going to continue to pump out damage on that MCV. And the MCV running for the hills, trying to be saved, I'm guessing, by the cryocopter. No, it's actually going to be the Vindicators over here first. The cryocopter slow to respond. That movement speed not being its friend, not doing any help. And again, these tsunami tanks, they are the hope of Zugspitze. One down, the second one using that nano deflector to try and escape. And no, it looks like the MCV will be able to escape, at least for now. Zugspitze, the Tengus are the response. They're going to try and attack in combination with these Strikers. And the Tengus walk into the waiting arms of the Apollos. They gun down the Tengus. I think the Vindicator went down, though. The Vindicator being eliminated means there's no punch to follow up with that cryocopter, but it means the Striker VXs, they can't buy enough time. There's the airfield out on the field. The refinery is still online. The power plant was never eliminated, and Andrey may barely have been able to break this down. Oh my gosh, these refineries barely online for Zugspitze, but those 3 harvesters doing what they can. That's not really what we do here. 3 refineries, 1 harvest, or 3 harvesters, 1 refinery. But he's making it happen. Tier 2, getting another cryocopter. More cryocopters, almost always better. A sudden transport. Is the engineer still alive? No. He may need to turn these harvesters into guns. And that's the end of the game. That could have gone either way. Okay. I'm not sure who actually won that game. I would say Andrey was in the better position, but I don't want to count Zugspitze out. Okay, I guess I'll figure it out afterwards, and the scoreboard will reflect. I don't know, but that is the best handling of that rush by an Empire player that I've seen in a long time. Those were some creative solutions that Zugspitze was coming up with. All right, let's jump into game number 3, which takes us to Industrial Strength in the southern position as the Blue Allies. This is Andrey. In the top right-hand corner as the Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. Triple dojo opening into the 2 refineries. Looks like he's not going for a cheeky 3rd refinery early on. Can be a difficult thing to pull off. We'll have to see what Andrey decides to do. Turret pushing has been his MO this series. It's a powerful allied toolkit, and you can't blame him for using it. Oil derricks going to be claimed relatively easily by each player. 1 to 1, 1 to the other. Where's the refinery? Okay, there is the refinery. It is refinery. It's not fast airfield or anything like that. He was delaying the refinery because he had to sell off a couple of wall segments to deal with the burst drone, but it is going to be a normal refinery for Andrey, who in this game may not be cheesing. Drops the wall segments up front, not necessarily always indicative that he wants to go for something super cheesy, although if he starts walling himself in over here, then that may be a little more indicative. Rebuilds the walls in the north, and he's going to be moving his MCV to a third refinery location. And of course, Zugspitze is going to be very annoying and build a whole bunch of wall segments directly over where that refinery goes as his way of delaying that third refinery from our allied player. It's not a big deal, but it is an annoyance. It does slow down your opponent and force them to break down a whole bunch of these wall segments to be able to build his refinery. Vindicator and an Apollo going to be keeping an eye on the forces of Zugspitze. Andrey is wanting to know at what point all of this stuff comes out. Fast Tier 2. This can be a very difficult thing to make work. I think he's going to be okay, given the moves that Andrey is making. Ooh, his MCV actually forced to retreat. The tank busters inside of the building, able to push this MCV back, and of course these 6 Imperial Warriors going to be adding a little bit of extra damage. Zugspitze runs forward, sticks his Imperial Warriors right in that wall segment to stop Andrey from being able to build those wall segments and cut them off. Andrey once again forced to sell off some of his walls in the north. His Peacekeepers going to be showing up in big numbers to try and clear out these Imperial Warriors. There's the transform of the Chopper VX. Some lovely micro by Zugspitze. The Apollos have a minimum attack distance, so if you get too close to an Apollo, the Apollo cannot shoot you. And that's exactly what we saw happen there. In the end, it didn't even matter, but we saw Zugspitze just utilize that knowledge, that ability of the Apollo to make his Chopper VX survive a little bit longer, and if that had played out a little bit differently, he actually would have saved his Chopper VX in a situation where he otherwise would have lost it. In the end, he of course did lose it, but that was a lovely move there by Zugspitze. A great attempt there. Wall has been rebuilt, and it's got Peacekeepers standing behind it. Into the Tier 2 goes Andrey. He's got the one Chopper VX. He's got the one Cryocopter flying around. Of course, there are now 4 Chopper VXs out on the map. Does need to, yeah, exactly, add on some Tengus. Zugspitze going to be losing this barracks, and eventually he's going to be losing this position to these Peacekeepers. They are going to clean up this building as well. They're going to take a little bit of damage from this Imperial Warrior, but these wall segments have to be broken down. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Keeping an eye on the Cryocopter count, Andrey is up to 2. It's, you can deal with 2. Once you get up towards, like, 3 or 4 Cryocopters can be really difficult to deal with because they will shred your ground forces if they are well controlled. But 2 is just before the snowball point, and I mean, Cryocopters are decently expensive, so getting up to that 4 Cryocopter army is somewhat difficult. That's quite an investment by the allied player. The wall at the front has been broken down. The Apollos swing in. We'll have to see how Zugspitze manages to deal with this. Shrinks down 2 of the Chopper VXs. Of course, on the ground, they're going to be now doing reduced damage to these Apollos. They will fire insanely quickly, but they do that reduced damage. Going directly for the power plant, a great move there, shuts down this multi-gunner turret before it's even finished being constructed, and the Chopper VX is going to be doing some nice damage as strikers down here on the ground. There's the transform of the Tengus, going to be able to clean up one Apollo, barely gets the kill there, but now the allied forces are closing in. The Imperial Warriors getting cut down by the Peacekeepers that have swung in from the north. One more chopper does go down. He's trying desperately to get the kill on this airfield, and it's actually going to be kind of benefiting. The shrunk down nature of that Chopper VX was actually benefiting him, as the Javelin Troopers don't have a 100% hit rate on shrunken down units, so even though he was flying, just hovering over that airfield, the Chopper VX wasn't actually going down. And now going to be responding. Where are the Javelin Troopers? They're nowhere to be found. He may actually be able to get a kill even on an ore refinery. He needs to go for the kill on that ore refinery. He's not going to escape against an Apollo. If the Apollo tries to chase him down, may even just die to the strike. Oh, no, he does transform just in time, and the Vindicators are going to come in to finish the job. Would be amazing if he could transform in time to escape the Vindicator, but it is not meant to be. The Vindicator goes down to the Tengus. The Cryocopter trying to go for the freeze. Doesn't have enough time. Apollos go for the kill on the Tengus, but they do transform to escape. The Apollos and the Vindicators now going to be hanging out over top of this base. Zugspitze never was able to get a third refinery up and running. His Chopper VX is going to be able to deal with this Cryocopter, his Striker rather, going to be able to deal with that Cryocopter, but not before the Harvester goes down anyways. He started to rebuild that Harvester, but it's a little late. He did not preempt that because, of course, he thought he was going to be able to save it. And Zugspitze has lost his oil derrick, cutting his income down by a bit. Of course, he eliminated the oil derrick of his opponent a long time ago. He's going to go for wall segments to deal with this infantry army. There's the transform. 3 of these Tengus going to be able to clean up some of these Peacekeepers. One of them is fully heroic. He's going for the weakened ones, able to cut down a couple of the Peacekeepers before they actually retake that building. And they do manage to retake the building. Third refinery up and running. Javelin troopers inside of this building do take down these wall segments eventually, and that fully heroic Javelin trooper inside of that building has just enough range to get that last wall segment. Striker VXs, one will go down to the Vindicator. The Tengus do go down to the Apollo, and all of the Tengus getting eliminated. The last Apollo gets the kill there on the last Tengu. The Vindicator got eliminated, but Zugspitze has been defeated, losing too many forces in that engagement, and Andrey manages to win a game without turret pushing. And that, I believe, makes us 2-1 in Andrey's favor. Zugspitze putting up a good fight, but in the end, he just could not defeat those air forces directly over his base. The Vindicator getting the kill on those choppers was just a little bit too much. And that will do it for game number 3. Let's see what happens in game number 4. Which takes us to Battlebase Beta. In the north, as the Blue Allies, this is Andrey. In the south, as the Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. Triple dojo opening. Could also go triple refinery. Again, it's a risk, but, you know, sometimes it works out. Battlebase Beta, a very contentious middle ground, oftentimes. It's not double racks for our allied player, though. He goes into the refinery. And he's going to be laser locking down all of these buildings. He doesn't want to give Zugspitze the opportunity to claim these buildings and then make them advantageous against Andrey. This build seems a little bit... Nope, it's not suspicious. I was going to say it seems a little suspicious. I would have been wrong. Harvester getting back online. Mecha Bay up and running very soon. Oil derricks grabbed by both players. Andrey deciding not to clean up this building on the high ground. Some players do try and take that high ground building down so that your opponent can't grab the high ground building and then shoot your oil derrick from it. Once again, Zugspitze going to be annoying, using these wall segments to block this refinery. It's a very annoying tactic, relatively cheap, delays your opponent's expansion. But of course, in this case, it'll be delaying a 4th refinery if we get to that point. The 3rd refinery is going to be out on the water. I think our burst drone friend is kind of spotting that for Zugspitze. He'll know, hey, there's no MCV in the middle of the map, and it's definitely not here on the high ground. So 99 times out of 100, it's going to be out here at the water. Although some players do go for this expansion over here. And the dojo is actually going to be confirming that that is not its 4th refinery location. Some players like to play across the water, so they go down to the water, and then they go up, and they make this little pocket of 4 refineries their base. Imperial Warriors will be eliminated. Nope, 1. One will survive. Manages to jump in that building, and he's going to be able to put pressure on that oil derrick, like we talked about before. Wall segment's going to be coming down for Zugspitze. Straight into Tier 2, pretty much, for Zugspitze. Again, it can be difficult if you don't open up with those, like, first 5 Tengus. But Striker VXs, they're out in pretty good numbers. 3 of them get some good damage onto this Apollo. Yeah, they do manage to take about half of the health away from that Apollo. Lots of wall segments here for Zugspitze. Ore refinery, the 3rd refinery established for Andrey before he's moving his MCV to the high ground. Going to be taking the traditional refinery location. This building will be cleared out. Looks like it's just a single Imperial Warrior in there. Yep. Oil derrick goes down. Vindicators make more bombing runs and clean up all of those Imperial Warriors. They gave their lives for a good cause. Apollo gets eliminated there. Those 3 strikers managing to get a kill in that location is actually pretty great. 3 refineries versus 4, but it's actually 3 refineries with an oil derrick versus the 4 of the allied player. The airfield is going to have to be rebuilt if he ever wants to go up to cryocopters. Get that tier 2 out. Couple of Imperial Warriors showing up and then deciding to retreat. I do wonder if Zugspitze is going to ever try and go for a 4th refinery. He's going to be down in income in just a minute or 2. Again, he has delayed this for his opponent. And he actually, if he has a refinery queued up, he's delayed that refinery by 30 seconds or so. Yeah. So he held that refinery off for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, to get all those forces over there. Tengus and Strikers, if they could clean up the Apollos, they could be extremely effective. Poking away at this expansion or hitting the north side of this refinery. 3 power plants all lined up pretty tightly for our allied player. Wow. Zugspitze moving his MCV to the middle of the map. He may be going for an all-out assault here. If he is going to try and crush stuff and absorb damage with his MCV, we'll have to see. Sometimes players will build a couple of production facilities here in the middle of the map. 1 dojo pops on out. He's still got this dojo down here. Of course, the buildings have been made useless by Andrey. Couple of Javelin troopers going to be laser locking down this civilian structure. Eliminate it very quickly. This 1 Imperial Warrior may actually get the kill on all 3 of these Javelin troopers. That is a little bit unfortunate for Andrey. He loses all 3 Javelin troopers to 1 Imperial Warrior. But he laser locked the building, so there's that. Tsunami tanks put a little bit of pressure on this ore refinery, but not much was had. I don't know what happened to that oil there, or to that dojo. He constructed a dojo. Did I don't know what with it. He's still got those wall segments over there. Tengus showing up in good numbers to chase away these Vindicators. The Vindicators get the kill on 1 of the... Oh, this is not going to be good for the Apollos. The Tengus do surround and destroy the Apollos. The 1 Tsunami tank did go down, but the second one, standing strong, cleans up the Harvester. And now the Tengus are going to have the opportunity to hang out directly over top of this airfield. Andrey in a very difficult position. He's going to have a hard time coming back from this. He's got Guardian tanks in the middle of the map. He's forcing the MCV back. It looks like 1 Guardian tank already going down to the tank busters as the Peacekeepers try and close ranks around them. This refinery is going to have to be sold off. It's just buying time at this point as the army from Andrey pulls back from the middle of the map to try and respond to these Tengus here in the middle of the main base of Andrey. And this Tsunami tank is going to be going up against it. These 2 Apollos do a bit of damage, clean up 1 Tengu, maybe 2, and then they pull back themselves. They're going to have to give away this refinery. It's going to go down eventually. The Vindicator can't make a bombing run. Well, no, it's just going to be 1 Vindicator and 3 Apollos. Pretty common choice, but of course, the MCV is still on the high ground, so the Tier 2 is not benefiting this airfield. It's no cryocopters. The refinery goes down. I assume the nano deflectors will be activated. No response from Zugspitze. He does not transform to avoid the bombs. 4 Guardian tanks heading up to the high ground. Andrey is now in a bit of a weird position economically. He was not able to... Oh, this Harvester offline. It looks like it's bugged. It looks like he gave the order to send it back to work, and it ignored it. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Andrey. That sucks for him because he did the right thing, and yet the bug of the game stopped him. So Zugspitze has now created an economic advantage for himself with this oil derrick. Don't underestimate the power of the oil derrick. It doesn't win you the game in 1 minute by itself, but over time it absolutely can make the difference. Big cryo shot going to be firing off. These tank busters going to try and run away, and it looks like that one tsunami tank will get caught by the cryo shot. Everything else manages to escape. But of course the multi-gunner turret's going to be able to stand strong, and Zugspitze just says, okay, if you're going to defend there, I'm going to go after your other third refinery. There's 2 multi-gunner turrets over here as well. Zugspitze can overwhelm this if he pushes everything in, but he's going to take heavy losses. Guardian tanks are now here for the response. They're going to be here for the defense. Cryocopter freezing that building, I think, a little bit there as that battle marker shows up. Ooh, this is a curious choice by Andrey, a curiously bad choice. Andrey losing game number 4. The score, I believe, is 2-2. Wow. Zugspitze just playing solid that game and just outplaying Andrey. Like, there wasn't actually a lot going right or wrong in that game. Andrey barely less money. The power of that oil derrick, man. That economic harassment by Zugspitze, pretty good. Able to work his magic. But, yeah. Just like a solid game by Zugspitze, because Andrey didn't play super aggressive, he wasn't able to close that game out. And then Zugspitze was just able to play safe, defensive, and smart. Well, let's find out what happens in game number 5. Which takes us to Fire Island. Glad to be back here. Fire Island. Always like this map. In the north as the Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. Evening things up 2-2. In the south as the Blue Allies, this is Andrey. As we head into this game number 5, what a lovely series this is turning into. We have not seen the most magnificent epic plays, but this has been a well-matched, well-fought series. These two guys are pretty even in skill. Andrey's shenanigans have not gone unpunished. He has not just been able to get, like, free wins. Zugspitze has been playing just so well. The dude is good at Red Alert 3. And wow, okay, no, never mind. Let's reset everything. There are some serious shenanigans going on in this game. I don't know what Andrey has planned, but he has some kind of shenaniganry that he managed to kill this oil derrick for no good reason. And that's usually indicative of some kind of something. I don't know what it is. It's going to be airfield, but it's after the 2 refineries, so this isn't a fast airfield. This isn't like a cryo rush. I mean, he could go into cryocopters from here. No, it's going to be power plant, and he moves his MCV. I guess he just didn't want to contend this southern oil derrick, and he said, I'm definitely not taking this, so I don't want you to take it. But Zugspitze, like, he didn't spend a bunch of money trying to take that. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Maybe this isn't any great allied shenaniganry. Maybe it's just normal. Actually, it's looking kind of normal. Mecha Bay in the main base, so it's not at the kind of more advanced position over here with the 3rd base, which is, sometimes you'll see players drop it, you know, somewhere in this range, so that it's, you actually get your forces out to your 3rd base a little bit more quickly, because you've got this little pocket of, burst drone goes down, by the way. You've got this little pocket of 2 refineries that you can take. So it's usually better to have the Mecha Bay there. Oil derrick goes down. I believe Andrey killed that off, so he didn't even try to take the oil derricks, but he also didn't rush airfield to try and kill his opponent's engineers or anything. He's going to go for the dojo. Good kill there of the dojo. Dojo is really just designed for the crushing power. You can run over your opponent's peacekeepers. Against a multi-gunner turret and a line of peacekeepers, you're probably not going to crush anything, but It eliminates that threat, and then it also eliminates the ability for the Empire player to drive around the side of the map and then unpack the dojo like here and cause all kinds of havoc for the Allied player. Third and fourth refineries up for Andrey. He's going to be on that 4 refinery economy, which in previous games hasn't worked out especially well for him. Ore refinery is up and running for Zugspitze. Apollo going for the scout in the north for Andrey. War Factory there at the third base location. 2 strikers out on the map. Up to tier 2, 3 strikers now out on the map. Looks like this Apollo taking a little bit of damage. This Imperial Warrior making a run for it. He's going for a full scout. He's going to see exactly what Andrey has got, which is just like surprisingly normal. I don't know, maybe this was a Imperial Warrior over there? I don't know what that Vindicator just killed. Killed something. This is a shockingly normal game. This Imperial Warrior is like, I know everything, and everything to know is almost nothing. Andrey going into Guardian tanks. I assume we've got tier 3 on the way relatively soon. He doesn't actually have anything queued up. Huh. So he's not going, like, relatively quick Athena cannons. He's pushing out with just a regular, strong, allied ground army, which is weird to say. Normally, allies are about being really efficient with the cryocopter, not about having a strong ground army with a bunch of tanks. Or you go up to, you know, Athena cannons, getting your tier 3 out. Okay, the first cryocopter is here. He's mixing cryocopters and Guardian tanks, which, I mean, this is a decent amount of beef on the ground. Kind of a weird way to say that, but it's a decent amount of survivability on the ground with the Guardian tanks. And then the cryocopters will allow your infantry army to be extremely efficient, potentially. I love these wall segments. This is like, if you think back 100 years ago to Eminence's wall swag, this is sort of like, not version 2.0, but just using the walls to delay your opponent in this way, not necessarily to totally block off the path, but to just delay your opponent and buy yourself a whole bunch of time. It's like another version of wall swag. 4 refineries up and running for a long, long time for Andrey before Zugspitze gets his 4th refinery up and running eventually. He has to deal with this Guardian tank army. The dojo will be frozen down. I don't know if anything's going to pop over there to actually do the damage. The Tengu's forming up in the sky. The strikers for now staying on the ground. And there's going to be the shrink of the MCV. The cryocopter showing up, then pulling back. And the cryocopter, the MCV, is going to have to pull back. Tank busters turn around, but they're not actually targeting down the tank, so he's going to be going for the crush. The Guardian tank's going for the crush, and there's no tsunami tanks on the front line. They're shrunk down behind, hiding and trying to stay away from the cryocopters, as there's going to be the transform of the strikers, but the Apollos show up, and this has been an execution by Andrey, eliminating everything that the Empire player has and making great use of those cryocopters to shrink down the critical units, forcing them to retreat, meaning the rest of the army was a bit mishandled by Zugspitze, and he has nothing to show for it. His entire army just evaporated to allied firepower. He was not well prepared for that attack. The reinforcements getting cut off by these cryocopters, frozen and killed by the Vindicator, and the rest of the army just deals with the 3rd refinery very easily. The 4th refinery gets dealt with by that Riptide over here. And Andrey just cutting Zugspitze to shreds. It wasn't even close. Those ground armies, the clash wasn't even close. Andrey just pummeling Zugspitze with his ground army, putting himself in a 3-2 3-2 score advantage. If he can close this last game out, he can take this series. And Zugspitze has to win 2 in a row, which he hasn't been able to do thus far. But he has to win 2 in a row to close this series out. Andrey with match point, and we move on to game number 6, which is on Temple Prime. On the left side, our blue allied player, this is Andrey. And on the right side, our Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. All right, Temple Prime. It's an unusual map, bit of a weird one. Not played very often. I tend to like it, but most players tend to not like it. 2 refineries. Normal opening from Zugspitze. The dog hanging out near this dojo. And the engineer, will he be able to get the kill on the engineer with the dojo? Ooh, the answer is no. The engineer will make it to the oil derrick before the dojo gets there. Boop. There we go. Second refinery up and running for Andrey. Engineer in the north from Zugspitze. He's going to go for the capture of this oil derrick as well. Going to be using this engineer's speed boost to get there just a little bit quicker. And he gets the cash back on the oil derrick in the north. So a nice opening for Zugspitze. Burst drone going to be seeing what there is to see for a little bit there. I think he misses the naval yard over here on the water. I assume that's for Riptides. It could be into Tier 2 for an assault destroyer, but I think that's a power plant queued up. Yeah, some kind of building. Ah, he drops an airfield here, so it's not into the power plant. He needs a power plant if he wants to go for an expansion, though. Oil derrick gets eliminated. I guess that engineer was not meant to be. Engineer jumps into the Riptide. The Riptide heads to the north. Can reclaim this oil derrick up here. They both got the cash back on 1, so all things are relatively equal. And Imperial Warriors trying to reinforce the temple in the middle of the map. Imperial Warriors a little bit cheaper than Peacekeepers, so forcing the Empire player or forcing the Allied player to clear out the building in this way does benefit the Empire player by just a little bit more. Grabs the oil derrick. He's got a lovely Vindicator standing guard over this oil derrick. Mecha Bay is up to Tier 2. He's had that Mecha Bay around for a little while. I don't know that he actually got any Tengus out of it, though. MCV on the move to the south, going to be getting up a naval expansion. Naval yard gets sold off. It's just going to be the airfield for now. A couple of Riptides sharking around the map, looking for openings, looking for opportunities. But for now, just looking to get his 3rd refinery up and running. And these 4 refinery play, I'm assuming he goes to the high ground for a 4th refinery. And then he gets his Tier 2, so it can benefit that airfield. But this 4 refinery play, you know, it's worked out some of the time for Andrey. Zugspitze, on the other hand, well, his chopper vax is stomping their way north to guard this tsunami tank. And he's actually going to reclaim this oil derrick. I don't know if Andrey... I think Andrey held that long enough that it was worth it, that he got his money back for the engineer. I don't know if Zugspitze will actually hold it for that long. Not sure what the unpack was. I think he dropped a power plant, and then, of course, he dropped this multi-gunner turret, as we just saw. But Andrey now going to be heading to the high ground. Is this an aggressive turret push? No, it looks like it is going to be for a 4th refinery. Although you can do both. Get yourself a 4th refinery, get yourself a war factory, and then turret push the crap out of your Empire opponent. Ooh, this refinery is dangerous. Do not let this refinery spawn in. Yeah, he cancels whatever he was building. He realizes he's with these 2 Tengus directly over his MCV like this. Well, the Tengu, or Vindicators, not Tengus. The Vindicators are going to be getting pushed away. They do bomb this tsunami tank, but it does activate the nano deflectors just in time, and it does survive. Now going to be going for a dojo. Does need to get a third refinery up soon. The fourth refinery is already up for our allied player. Zugspitze is trying to clear out the middle of the map. These riptides are making it more difficult for him to claim that temple in the middle. Striker VXs stomping around and trying to get an angle on these Apollos, but it will not be. Okay. Okay. It's a Tier 2 Mecha Bay. That is what he has got. He's got the dojo as well, and this is it. 2 refineries and an oil derrick. Empire players can make this work. It's going to be difficult to break the defense of the allied player, but it is certainly possible. And at this point, the Andrey actually doesn't have a big ground army. He got that 4th refinery up and running, but he went Tier 2. He went Tier 2 before the War Factory, so that was why. The Tier 2 doesn't actually apply to that airfield. It was too far away, so he was rebuilding the airfield. That's why he doesn't have any kind of a ground army. So Zugspitze has an opportunity to make this happen. I assume this is a cryocopter on the way. There are 2 multi-gunner turrets here. There's the cryoblast firing off at a predictive position, but it was actually wrong. The prediction was wrong, as all of these forces are turning their guns and their attention on this MCV. They're trying to deal with these javelin troopers, with the peacekeepers, as they're here on the ground. And the other side of the building is that multi-gunner IFV. It's actually a multi-gunner turret. It's not actually doing a whole lot here, but there's one cryocopter out on the field up in the north. The MCV packs up to go for the crushes as a second multi-gunner turret gets deployed here. A third in the north. The multi-gunner turret defense is strong, and for now the multi-gunners are standing against the forces of Zugspitze. This barracks actually being claimed by Zugspitze. He uses the engineer from his MCV cell to get out a couple of javelin troopers. He's trying to mount that infantry-based anti-air for the Empire player, which is to steal an allied barrack. And an allied barracks and produce javelin troopers. There's the transform of the chopper VXs. They were going for the airfield, but it didn't quite work out. Killing the power plants is a great move here, and he may actually have free reign to kill this power plant in the north and then go for the refinery as well. Nope. Here's the Apollo to respond. There's the transform. Nicely timed there. Gets the kill on the Apollo. Gets the kill on the Vindicator. Gets the kill on the power plant. Well done here by Zugspitze. He needs to keep pressing, though. He needs to keep up the pressure. He needs more Tengus on the front line. Vindicators and Apollos are going to be rebuilt. These tsunami tanks, these Riptides, rather, killing the Javelin Troopers coming out of this barracks. And, well, the Imperial Warriors do eventually get the kill on that multi-gunner turret. It was at a cost. And this Apollo is going to get the kill on the Chopper VX, and then he'll get the kill on the Tengu. 2 Apollos beat 2 Tengus, especially in those positions. Andrey rebuilding his power plant, repositioning his MCV a little bit here. Vindicator goes for the kill on the Javelin Troopers, and I think Zugspitze is out of steam. I don't think he really has anything else to do here. Riptides clean up that Peacekeeper. And yeah, I think Andrey has held. Zugspitze is just out of units, out of time. He's been down on economy for a long time. He's been 2 refineries with an oil derrick versus 4, and he has not been able to break his opponent. There's the sell-off of that barrack. The dojo for our Empire player gets eliminated. The oil derrick does still stand. Okay, round 2. He's going to try again. Zugspitze, this didn't work before, and Andrey is in a much better position now than he was a minute or 2 ago, but he's going to try 3 Apollos versus 2 2 Tengus. The Riptides show up. They clean up all of these Imperial Warriors. Goodbye. Zugspitze has been defeated. Andrey takes the series 4-2. That kicks us into a second series. I don't know if it's a best of 7 or a best of 5. It may be 2 best of 7s in a row, which would be a lot of games. But we are going to be jumping into the extended series for this tournament. For the win, 73. We're resetting the scoreboard. and Andrey has an opportunity to take this tournament. Let's find out what happens in game number 1. Which takes us back to Snowplow in the north as the Cyan Empire. It's Zugspitze, the winner's bracket winner. And in the south, reclaiming and proving that he has a reason and a spot to be here in the grand finals, this is Andrey, our blue allied player, able to take that series. A couple of those games, real scrappy and difficult wins. Couple of the cheeses not going the way he wanted. And now we're into the extended series. Who will reign supreme? I genuinely don't know. I'm curious as to how these guys are going to try and play this out. Is Andrey just going to be going for a bit of a base push, a bit of a turret push? His power plant is out on the water. Sometimes it's a safe place, sometimes it's a dangerous place. Although Andrey has really been featuring this like 4 refinery kind of play. Oil derrick on the high ground gets eliminated. That is Andrey's oil derrick. This one is more Zugspitze's oil derrick. He's got the dojo, or he's got the civilian structure covering the dojo there. Imperial Warriors versus Peacekeepers in the middle of the map. The Peacekeepers will win the fight, but the Imperial Warriors retreat. It's into the Mecha Bay. It's not fast 3 refineries. There isn't a refinery on this high ground to get sniped by a Javelin Trooper. One bridge goes down. For now, the other bridges remain. They may get targeted down eventually. There's this dojo, which is supposed to capture this oil derrick, but there's nothing there for it to capture. Another dojo goes down. The Javelin Troopers break it apart. Peacekeepers walled up on the front lines there, standing in a long wall. Another power plant. Third refinery could be the next choice for Zugspitze. Dojo core going to be the choice. And on this high ground, it's kind of funny to have a barracks up there on the high ground. This is one of those things that most of the time it's nothing, but occasionally a sneaky play like this will be an advantage. Well, everything is looking relatively straightforward. Third refinery is significantly delayed from where it was in that other game on Snowplow. Tier 2 is up for our Empire player. The front line of infantry have been broken by this Vindicator. A single Defender VX hanging out here in the middle of the base, going to be given some nice anti-air build radius, or anti-air radius to the middle of that base. Not a lot of ground vehicles out on the map for Zugspitze. Andrey with his third refinery there, and his MCV way the heck over here. And this is curious from Zugspitze. He got out that Mecha Bay pretty quick. He got out the Tier 2 pretty quick, and he has done virtually nothing with it. I don't know if this is going to be an MCV cell scenario, but it might have to be to try and salvage this game. He does nothing with this dojo over here. He doesn't put any kind of pressure on his opponent. Get out some tank busters, try and break down that refinery. Nothing like that. The power plant is in range. That power plant is going to have to be rebuilt. It's already been done over there. The MCV heads down from the high ground. No wall segments to try and go for the save of this refinery. It's going to be the speed-boosted tsunami tank. This is not an especially scary allied ground army, but it has a huge damage output. Oh my gosh, it just annihilates that refinery. Zugspitze has let Andrey uncontested get this kind of a position. This strong of a position. This is not good for Zugspitze. He's going to go for a couple of crushes there, but the control isn't great from Zugspitze. He only gets 2 Javelin Troopers with that Tsunami Tank. The split good enough by Andrey, and goodbye Striker VX gets the kill on that Javelin Trooper, and that's better crushing coming out from Zugspitze. He gets all of the Javelin Troopers. He blocks off the multi-gunner turret with his wall segment, and it looks like the Strikers and the Tsunamis will survive for now. The Harvester switched into gun mode, could be used to absorb a couple of shots there, and the multi-gunner turret is going to be going down. There's the cell of the MCV. He's going to try and hold off in this way. Selling his MCV, a scrappy defense trying to be mounted here for Zugspitze. He's selling off wall segments. He's trying to get every last ounce of cash that he can possibly get, but it's almost hopeless. It's desperate plays by Zugspitze. Andrey, with a superior position, wins game number 1 of the extended series, and Zugspitze has been defeated. That was not a rush kind of a play. That was like a pretty delayed turret push timing. He got a 3rd refinery. He got the airfield at that 3rd refinery location. That was not a wildly aggressive play. Zugspitze just had literally nothing to deal with it. He got that Mecha Bay early, and he did almost nothing with it. And that's it for game number 1, so let's see how game number 2 goes. Which takes us to the Hotel Marina on Cabana Republic. On the left side as our allied player, this is Andrey. On the right side as our Empire player, this is Zugspitze. Andrey winning a variety of games with a variety of unit comps. Cheesy allied games, turret pushy games, Guardian tank, Peacekeeper games. He's winning with a nice little variety of stuff. Turret push is still a core part of the Andrey diet. The dude loves turret pushes. But mixing it up. Alright. Last time, 3 refineries worked out for Zugspitze. He's going for it again. At this point, I think you almost have to get like a safety Defender VX core. He's going to wait to make that decision until he sees what's going on. This is like the exact same build. Last time this did not work out for Andrey, but Zugspitze should be suspicious of this. He's got the tier 2 on the airfield. There's our cryocopter. This refinery is going to be under threat, and Zugspitze, okay, so he is going to get both oil derricks. That's good. He's going to need both oil derricks. And Andrey is confirming, yep, this is exactly what I think it is. Now, this Defender VX core is, you know, placed in such a way that you can potentially lose your refinery. Ooh, I wish Zugspitze had snuck out another dojo. He needs to get his Mecha Bay out. He needs to get Tengus or just go straight tier 2 and try and get some strikers. Okay, there's the engineer. I hope he keeps this dojo around. 2, 3 tank busters. Nope, he sells it immediately. Understandable, he needs the cash. He's going to go for a 2nd Defender core. Good choice. Now, this one over here can't do anything to stop the multi-gunner turrets that are going to be dropped there. So we're kind of comparing this to last time. These guys played this almost exact game. Same spawn positions, not very long ago. And at this point, you may even just sell this refinery if you know that you're not going to try and rebuild that harvester. There's the kill of the harvester. Lots of wall segments, little squares being made by Zugspitze. He had 2 tank busters, 2 or 3 tank busters mixed in with this army to break down these walls. That would have been great. That would have forced a response from Andrey. Andrey does not keep the cryocopter alive. He loses the cryocopter, and that doesn't mean this is over. It doesn't mean he's dead, but it means he's almost dead. You get out with this build, you get out 1 cryocopter, and you got to keep that thing alive. He can rebuild the airfield over here, but that hasn't even started, so he is a long time away from having a 2nd cryocopter. Now, we have no tier 2. He did sneak out another dojo. It's here on this side of the map. He did not sell off this refinery, so he's hoping that he can still make something happen with it. He needs a couple more wall segments to come up, but he's so out of cash. It's going to be into the Assault Destroyer. There are no strikers to really punish this Assault Destroyer. And the Assault Destroyer is just going to be potentially going for the ore refinery. There goes 1 refinery. It's still 2 refineries, 2 oil derricks. So he's still got decent income. He's still got decent money. There's rebuilding some of these wall segments. Once again, the Assault Destroyer going to be coming in for the crush. Couple of tank busters are here. 3 tank busters specifically here to break down this multi-gunner turret. Couple of tank busters going down, but the tsunami tanks, or the Tengus, do step forward to do a little bit more damage. There's going to be the transform of that defender core. No black hole armor means the multi-gunner turret goes down. Couple more tank busters would be really nice over here to help deal with this Assault Destroyer. One Tengu does go down. This Harvester may as well switch into the gun mode and get into this fight. There's the cell of the MCV. Zugspitze is going to really try and hold this position. He's only got the 2, now 3 Tengus. Still no tier 2. Could try and sneak an engineer maybe out onto the water and capture this power plant or something. I don't even know what you do with this. This is going to be a difficult situation to break out of. Power plant way down there in the south. MCV packs up. Andrey is going to be able to break down this second refinery, so it's going to be 1 refinery, 2 oil derrick for Zugspitze. But no cryocopters. 1 multi-gunner turret, or another multi-gunner turret going down. For now, the Harvester does survive. The refinery does survive. The Riptide gets eliminated. The power plant going to be the next target, sending Zugspitze into a low-power mode. Might be the best thing that Andrey could do right at this moment. It may even force the sell-off of either the base defense, or it'll force the sell-off of the barracks. No, he's actually fine. Losing the refineries means that he's fine power-wise with just the 2 power plants. Zugspitze trying to push in with these tank busters. 2 multi-gunner turrets here out on the water, or one of them out on the water, taking a lot of damage from these tank busters. It's going to be broken down. The Assault Destroyer going for the crush, but there's into their hidey holes. Go the tank busters. He actually grabs the observation post way up there with that engineer. A great choice there. There's going to be the freeze. Where's the kill? There's no kill. There's no Assault Destroyer. The power plant's going to unfreeze. Everything's going to come back online. That was maybe a bit of a misplay by Andrey. Andrey running out of steam. He's now rebuilt his Air Force. It's mostly Apollos. Apollos which could shred potentially these strikers, or these choppers, or these Tengus. There's the transform. There are 3 Apollos coming to the north side of the map. It's a Vindicator on the follow-up. This striker has been transformed long enough that if the Apollos show up, it may be able to quickly transform to save itself. There's going to be the transform. And these Apollos are done for. They have to escape. 1 Tengu goes down, but you're going to be fine trading 1 Tengu for an Apollo in this situation especially. The Harvester runs for the hills. These strikers need to transform, get into the air, and get the kill on that Assault Destroyer. Andrey is out. He loses that game once again. GG. And now 1-1 in the extended series. Zugspitze fighting back against the Allied Cheese on Cabana Republic for the 2nd time. Claims the victory. And in 7 minutes even, Zugspitze evens things up. Let's see what happens in game number 3. Which takes us once again to Fire Island. In the south, as the Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. In the north, as the Blue Allies, this is Andrey. What a series this is turning into. The extended series giving us lots of great games, tense battles, and low econ situations. Scrappy matches on both sides. Both players playing very well overall. Some definite mistakes. Some definite curious choices. But overall, well played to both. Once again, this is like such a weird Andrey thing that he is apparently loving to do. Loving to do? That's a weird phrase. He just does not want those oil derricks, and he doesn't want Zugspitze, his opponent, to have them. Alright, second refinery up and running. Where's the airfield going to go? Always a curious choice. Mecha Bay stays back here in the main base for Zugspitze. Power plant goes out as well. Naval Yard up and running. And, well, relatively normal openings from... Zugspitze was so excited about killing that oil derrick because that's what Andrey was doing that he fired on his own oil derrick a little bit there. Also, these 5 Imperial Warriors are going to get slaughtered by these Peacekeepers if they try and pick a fight there. Dog gets eliminated. Whoa, did he? Yeah. Man. That cell sound effect has a distinct sound to it. Okay. So, let's double check. Yeah, Andrey does not know about this. So that's why the dog was killed. He was trying to anti-scout a little bit there. Alright, oil derrick goes down, and the Peacekeepers get sent into tumble mode, and then into shield mode, as a bunch of them may actually end up dying to this Tengu, as it does clean up a big chunk of those Peacekeepers, and that is a key part of stopping this attack. He doesn't necessarily know it's an MCV cell, but it's going to be lots of Tengus pouring out from this mecha bay. This is a 2 refinery, no oil derrick, MCV cell, Tengu, tank buster spam all in. This is just like a lot of pressure, a lot of damage all at once. Tank busters do get sniped very perfectly there by these Vindicators. The Tengus do take a little bit of damage there. They're going to target down the multi-gunner turret just a smidge before having to pull back and stand and stay away from that multi-gunner turret. Multi-gunner turret going to get some good damage out on these Imperial Warriors and the Tank Busters. There's the Dojo going for the crush, getting a little bit of that honorable discharge damage out. The multi-gunner turret does go down, and of course the MCV being packed up means no more multi-gunner turrets coming out anytime soon. Here's another Vindicator bombing run as it cleans up another Tengu, and these Riptide steps forward, but one after the other, the Javelin Troopers getting eliminated. There's the crush of 2 Imperial Warriors. Very low forces on both sides, very low numbers on both sides. Zugspitze forced to pull back. The Apollo's going to be guarding this Vindicator as it makes another bombing run. There's a nice split of the bombs, but it doesn't matter. He's going to try and chase down these Tengus. He gets both of them, so it doesn't actually matter. Killing both of those Vindicators, or killing both of the Tengus with the Vindicator, and the Apollos are checking. They're like, hey, there's no MCV there, and there's no third base, so he is pretty sure that this was an MCV cell. Yeah, you can see he's checking the sides of the map. He's making sure that there are no sneaky expansions. He doesn't want to be caught off guard by anything. No dojos over on the side of the map sneaking away and producing units. Multi-gunner turret now out on the front line. Things were looking pretty good for Zugspitze. Oh, goodness, he has this power plant way over there in the corner. Things were looking pretty good for Zugspitze, but now that the initial attack has been held off, that initial swell of units, the tank busters, the the Tengus. I keep saying tsunami tanks when I don't actually mean tsunami tanks. Everything has been held off. He's going to try and go for the kill on the Vindicator. He's going to suicide himself to get it, and he doesn't get it. The Vindicator survives 25% health, and the Apollos have cleared the skies. It's not impossible for Zugspitze to win from this situation, to win from this position, but it feels close to impossible. This is going to be a really tough fight for Zugspitze. The Allied player now has basically all of the cards, all of the advantage, and our Empire player has almost nothing going for him. He was faster to the Tier 2, but that doesn't matter. Cryocopters are on the way. Naval Yard could be dropped down. 3 refineries versus 2. There was no great damage done earlier on. The Con Yard has almost repaired up to full health. There's the first Cryocopter. Nice dodge of those Vindicator bombs. But without anti-air infantry, that chopper and that striker can't really do anything. Can he transform? No, he couldn't transform, not in time. Multi-gunner turret making a strong defense. There's the resizing of that striker. And the Vindicator does survive. The Cryocopter went down. And the Riptide gets eliminated. 2 tsunami tanks are now here. But this, unfortunately, for that Striker VX, it does go down before it can be saved by its friends. Tsunami tanks One will go down to the Vindicator. The other one will survive to kill that multi-gunner turret. Another cryocopter is now out. Now the Striker is out, but of course the Striker gets shrunk down by the cryocopter. Vindicator coming in for another bombing run. Kills off one tank buster very nicely there. I guess he only waited for one bomb to refuel before coming on out. The only thing faster than an Apollo is a shrunk down Chopper VX, apparently. And there it goes. Zugspitze has been defeated. Zugspitze with the aggressive, almost cheesy. I don't know if you'd call that a cheese. It's an MCV cell, so it's an all-in. But it wasn't, I don't know that it was a cheese necessarily. Although some people call anything that's aggression before like 15 minutes cheese. So I guess in that sense, like if you build a Peacekeeper before the 15-minute mark, they're like, why are you so cheesy? That will do it. Andrey now up 2-1 in this series. Let's see what happens in game number 4. Which takes us back to Temple Prime on the left side as our Cyan Empire. This is Zugspitze. On the right side as our blue allies, this is Andrey. Power plant way out on the water. Engineer. So it is going to be an attempt to claim some of these oil derricks. Doesn't even necessarily have to be the one in the north, just because that's where the engineer is heading right now. Zugspitze tried the MCV cell, didn't want to play it out on Fire Island, and, well, it didn't quite work out for him. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for Andrey, the defense was good enough. Engineer heading out onto the water to avoid being crushed. Very nicely done there by Andrey. And the Javelin Trooper on the high ground going to try and keep things safe. Going to be forced to pull down onto the low ground, though. Dog going for a scout over there on the left side. And Andrey is the first one to claim the oil derrick, but the one in the south will be claimed by Zugspitze. Mecha Bay. Not delayed a lot, but not a very fast Mecha Bay either. It's going to be the Naval Yard for Andrey. No Tier 2, so he's not going Assault Destroyers, just Riptides. Going to keep that Engineer safe, at least for now. And it looks like this Engineer from Zugspitze is going to be able to grab that oil derrick. No engagement necessary. The Riptide is indeed heading on up. Airfield here in a central position. And the Naval Yard gets sold off after 2 Riptides. Zugspitze sharking around the map with his dojo and his infantry. Not going straight into Tier 2, gets at least 1 Tengu out. Although some players will get out just 1 Tengu and then go into Tier 2. And Zugspitze is a player who likes a relatively quick Tier 2. Oil derrick reclaimed by Andrey. Zugspitze almost certainly did not get his cash back on that. Dojo does not manage to deploy. Gets cleaned up by those Riptides. Any Peacekeepers inside of these Riptides? I guess not, as these Riptides are just going to fight it out with the Imperial Warriors. And, of course, the Riptides will win. Apollo gets not cleaned up. It does not die. Apollo is very tough. He's actually going to turn around and try and go for the kill on these Tengus. The Vindicator will be the thing that actually gets the kill on the Tengus. Ooh, he tries to split the bombs. He does split the bombs well enough to kill 1 Tengu. And I guess ultimately he couldn't have gotten both of them. But the repairs are good enough. Just barely managing to get those kills on that Tengu. Laser lock on the oil derrick in the south. Andrey playing this one out very carefully. He is not being as brash and as aggressive as he has been in some of the other games. He's playing this out safely, methodically even. Gets his 3rd refinery up and running. Zugspitze struggles to get that 3rd refinery up. He's a big believer in the MCV cell, as we see once again. Looks like the Engineer heading to the north, going to try and claim this oil derrick. And an Engineer showing up to claim your oil derrick, it should kind of tip you off. It's not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a sure thing, but it's one of those things where it's like, huh, maybe I should go check. All right, Zugspitze tried this last time. It didn't work on Fire Island. Maybe he can make it work on Temple Prime. Airfield here. The MCV going to drop a barracks over here on the left, on the southern side of the map. Multi-gunner turret as well. Almost going to be overwhelmed by these Imperial Warriors. Actually, it will get knocked down by these Imperial Warriors. And Javelin Trooper shows up, but immediately he gets gunned down. Oh, he may just barely escape. Oh, he does go down. He stops moving for a moment there. Vindicators show up. One Vindicator gets kills on 3 different units there. No, 2 different units. One of them barely survives. Zugspitze putting pretty much all of his eggs into one basket down here in the south. He's going for the big attack. A couple of strikers, a couple of Tengus, but really the infantry are making up the numbers of this army. Kills another Imperial Warrior. I don't know if that was the best use of that Vindicator, but let's see if Andrey's defense this time is as good. He doesn't necessarily have as many tools as he was working with before. No Cryocopter out here on the field. No Tier 2 there on the MCV. He's instead going to be dropping down another power plant. One Riptide does go down. Andrey giving that away. I don't know that that was a wise choice in this airfield. If it gets targeted down from the high ground, that could be a game-winning move. Vindicator comes in for the kill. The Apollos are actually going to get the kill on the Striker. Saves it from one death, and it dies a different death. Pick your poison. Tier 2 is not done just yet. That could be it researching right now. It is Tier 2. There's the Cryocopter going to be beginning relatively soon. Looks like the Vindicator is being rebuilt first. Now the Cryocopter on the way almost certainly. Striker does not go down. The Vindicator also survives, albeit barely. Oh, he missed his opportunity to kill this airfield. And now the Cryocopter's out. Zugspitze. This might be it for his army. We'll have to see if he can bust down the front door. There's going to be the cryo shot firing off. This is going to force his army to engage, to get up close and personal with this multi-gunner turret. The Cryocopter now here. 2 Vindicators, 2 Tengus rather swinging in, but they get pushed away by those Apollos. There's the shrink down of one Tsunami tank. The other Tsunami tank gets frozen, but not destroyed. There's the Vindicator going for the kill on both of the Tsunami tanks, and now everything else can't shoot up. No, the Striker VX shows up at the last second from the left, gonna get the kill on the airfield. This is Zugspitze's one chance is to get the kill on this airfield. That Striker VX over on the left side of the map is not going to be able to get the kill on the aircraft, and everything else gets frozen down. A heartbreaking loss for Zugspitze. He's going to try and fight it out. He's not GG'ing. He's staying in this game. He can try. He really needs about 6 Tengus. There's one more chopper going down. Andrey is playing this out safe. He knows how to play from this position. And as long as he doesn't make any major missteps, he's going to take this game. He would have to really misplay to lose from this point forward. 3 Cryocopters out on the map now. Full health. Full tank. All right. Tengus pull back. There goes the oil derrick. Goodbye, Dojo. It is literally just down to this, to the Mecha Bay. One Apollo does go down. A win is a win. But, again, as long as there are no missteps by Andrey, it's nearly impossible for Zugspitze to win this game. I believe in the power of the Tengu, but, yeah. But unless, I guess Andrey could just, like, stop producing stuff. If he just stopped making stuff for, like, 5 minutes and then didn't spend his bank, then their armies would be equal. Tengus show up, they get a kill on a Vindicator. The Apollos show up and chase away the Tengus before they can get a kill on any of these cryocopters. And the cryocopters are going to make it to safety before the Tengus can gun them down. The Apollos step forward, but the choppers are too slow. They stomp, stomp, stomp on the ground, but they're not fast enough to get there. There's a 4th refinery up and running. There's one chopper that transforms, one striker that transforms, rather. The long, slow death of Zugspitze. Andrey, once again, playing this out careful, nearly methodical in how he's approaching this. Could go for a war factory after this. He's got 4 refineries. He's got a good position. And he really does not want to accidentally give this game away. That's why he's playing so careful, so cautious. Honestly, going either second airfield or war factory. Like, get up, 3 more Apollos. Even 4 more Apollos. You can kill the expansion in the south, but, that doesn't win you the game. Vindicator coming in. Cryo shot or cryoblast locks down that refinery. This is the big attack from Zugspitze. He's going to try and make something happen there. The Tengus go down. Zugspitze has been defeated. The choppers and the Tengus not enough to break this allied fortress. And that will do it for game, I think, number 4. Andrey with a solid lead in this series. All he has to do now is close it out to win for the win, 73. Let's find out what happens in game number 5, which takes us to Battlebase Beta in the northern position as the Blue Allies. This is Andrey. In the southern position as the Cyan Empire, this is Zugspitze. This guy has put up a good fight. His MCV cell all-ins have not worked. He tends to win. He wins more games when Andrey tries to cheese him or turret push him, unless it's Snowplow, than when he MCV cells. It's not good enough. The MCV cell. Opening up very similarly to last time. Andrey breaking down these buildings. Going to be eliminating them from being a problem. I think it might have only been a double dojo opening, but it was a triple refinery opening. And Andrey knows this now. He sees the refinery there. His dog scouts this out. And it's actually a naval yard. What is this build? You just go airfield, right? You just go airfield and fast cryos. You could go naval yard and riptide, but you just go straight into cryos from this. You could even play it off of 2 refineries. Eventually take your 3rd up here. There's the airfield. He's going cryo. He may be going cryo. But yeah, when you see your opponent go 3 refinery like this, yeah, that's it. All right, it's a cryocopter play for Andrey. The defender is here. He probably needs 2 defender cores. I don't know what the play is here. Obviously, you could go... Unless he is really banking on Andrey going water expansion, which, to be fair, Andrey has gone water expansion, then he's going to want to get tier 2 on the docks. But then that means that you've got sea wings, which are locked to the water in terms of killing cryocopters. You've got no Tengus. You've got no strikers. I don't know what this build is from Zugspitze. What was the idea? I guess he was hoping Andrey was not going to scout him, and Andrey was going to go blind water. And then he could get out 1 Yari mini-sub, he would kill the water expansion, and then And then that's it. I don't know what this build was from, other than bad. I don't know what this is from Zugspitze. Andrey made the right call. Once he scouted with that dog, oh, it's fast third refinery, it's and then it's naval yard follow-up. Once he scouted that, he made the absolutely right call. Get out your cryo, base, and turret push him. Okay. This is a great opportunity for Zugspitze to hold this off and show what an amazing player he is and why this was the right call. Not doing a lot. Tank Buster is going to be holding off these multi-gunner turrets back here, and the refinery will eventually go down. No, maybe not. I guess the Tank Buster got eliminated, and this Imperial Warrior is also going to get eliminated. The oil derrick goes down. Andrey has his own oil derrick, and the Tank Busters and the Striker Corps, the Defender VX, have not been able to break down these two multi-gunner turrets. They've both taken about half damage, which means if all of that damage had been focused on one of them, it would have gone down, but probably because of the wall segments, he wasn't quite able to do that. Cryocopter steps forward. Refinery gets sold off. Zugspitze is now sitting on those two refineries, no oil derrick. Great naval yard out there, not doing anything. He never even was able to rebuild that harvester, so he's actually on one refinery economy. He's got all of this stuff, and he's got one refinery. By the way, Zugspitze does have a stream, or he posts first-person VODs that you can watch. And I think it's Billy. I'll try and remember and leave a link in the description if you want to see some first-person play. He is a very good player, as you have been able to see. Not so much in this game, but in lots of other games, he's a very good player. 3 multi-gunner turrets are just crushing everything down. Andrey with the great decision-making in these last couple of moments here. This dojo over here, the source of pain for Andrey. He may actually end up losing this refinery purely because of that. The refinery is being repaired on the explosion point, and this is a lot of explosions that are happening. Was that a visual bug? I know because the refinery will trigger an explosion. A building will trigger an explosion at when they take a certain amount of damage. And so if you repair them just above that point and then damage them just below that point a couple of times, then you can get that kind of a situation. But GG gets called. Zugspitze has been defeated. That was a great series overall, but not a great final game to end the series on. I mean, you got to hand it to Andrey, playing that out very well. Again, those 2 games before that, they were MCV cells from Zugspitze, so he was the one putting on the pressure, putting on the aggression, going really big with the choppers and the Tengus and the infantry, and it was just up to Andrey to defend it. He was able to do that, and those games kind of fell to pieces. And then in that game, Zugspitze build order loss, basically. He build order killed himself. And that will do it for this series, for this game. Thank you all very much for watching. Again, big congratulations to Andrey and Zugspitze. A great performance in a lot of the games, although, to be fair, depending on when this was played, he's playing from China. So it may have been very early in the morning for him, which is why as the time wore on, he made some of those decisions to end games quickly. That is definitely a possibility. But a big congratulations to Andrey for winning for the win 73. Of course, big thank you to Rage for organizing it, and Rage and Goldie for the prize pool. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.